Have you ever felt like something was watching you, even when you were completely alone? Or met someone who seemed too good to be true, only to discover they were hiding a terrifying secret? Not all encounters go as expected. Some stories of love and mystery end in tragedy, while others defy logic and make us question reality itself. In this episode, we will dive into chilling cases of encounters that went terribly wrong. From a sinister cabin in the woods to a romance that transcends death, each story will bring disturbing details that will haunt your mind. And the worst part? These stories are more real than you might think. If you believe danger only exists in horror movies, think again. Sometimes, the threat is right beside you, or even worse, it might already be watching you without you knowing. Get ready for chills, because what you're about to hear might change the way you see the world. A cabin in the woods and a strange message. When Lucas agreed to spend a romantic weekend with his girlfriend Sophia in a secluded cabin, he expected peace, quiet, and nature, but he didn't expect a warning straight out of a nightmare. As soon as they arrived, they noticed that the house looked far too old to be a rental. But what really made their hearts pound was the scribbled note on the table: "Enjoy your stay, you won't be alone." Was it a sick joke or a real warning? Night fell, and the wind rustled through the trees, casting eerie shadows against the windows. The silence was shattered by a strange noise upstairs: slow, dragging footsteps. Lucas tried to ignore it, but Sophia clutched his arm, her eyes wide with fear. Something was wrong. He reached for his phone to turn on the flashlight, and that's when he saw it. A disturbing photo in his gallery. The image showed him and Sophia inside the cabin, but the terrifying detail? The picture had been taken that same night, and neither of them had taken it. Panic set in. The front door, which Lucas had locked, was now slightly open, creaking softly. They both froze. The wind couldn't have done that. Sophia whispered, "We need to get out of here. Now." Neither of them wanted to find out who or what was inside. Grabbing the car keys in a hurry, they bolted outside. Just as they were about to leave, a low, sinister laugh echoed from the dark forest. The engine sputtered before finally starting, adding to their terror. As they sped away, they didn't dare look back. The cabin vanished into the night, but the feeling of being watched never left them. Later, when they tried to report the incident, they discovered something even more horrifying: the property had been abandoned for years. And other couples had disappeared there before. To this day, Lucas still wakes up in the middle of the night, haunted by that eerie note and wondering who or what was with them that night. An obsessive love and a macabre gift. It all started with what seemed like an innocent encounter. Camila met Leo at a party, and at first, he just seemed like an overly enthusiastic guy. But after that night, he started sending messages constantly. At first, it was just compliments and small talk. Soon, the messages turned into relentless calls and obsessive declarations, way too intense for someone she had just met. Feeling uneasy, Camila blocked him, thinking the problem was solved. She was wrong. Valentine's Day arrived, and Camila found a box left at her doorstep. No sender. Curious, she opened the package, but what she saw made her blood run cold. Inside was a real, bleeding heart. And next to it, a photograph of her bedroom window taken from outside, at night. Pure terror. How did Leo know where she lived? How had he gotten so close without her noticing? The police were called, but without concrete evidence, nothing could be done. Camila decided to leave town for a while and stay with a friend. But even that wasn't enough to escape the horror. One night, her phone vibrated with a new message from an unknown number. "Did you really think you could escape me?" Attached to the message was another disturbing photo: her, sleeping on the couch taken from inside the house. That was when she realized Leo wasn't just obsessed, was dangerous. Camila was never seen in that town again. Rumor has it she changed her identity and disappeared for good. But whenever someone brings up her story, her old friends always say the same thing: she never celebrated Valentine's Day again. A love that transcends death. Renato never believed in fate until he met Mariana. She was mysterious, quiet, and always avoided talking about her past. There was something about her that fascinated him, as if he had known her before. Their dates were magical, time seemed to stop when they were together. But deep down, Renato felt there was something unsettling behind her dark eyes. One night, driven by an unexplainable feeling, he decided to search Mariana's name online. What he found made his blood freeze. She had died in a car accident a year ago. The date of her death was before they had even met. This didn't make sense. Panic set in, but he refused to believe it. He decided to confront her, but when he arrived at their usual meeting spot, Mariana never showed up. Back at his apartment, an eerie chill ran down his spine as he noticed something on his coffee table. It was the ring she always wore. But he knew for a fact that the ring had been buried with her. A strange presence lingered in the room. When he turned toward the mirror, his reflection looked distorted, like someone else was standing there with him, invisible to the naked eye. That night, Renato didn't sleep. At 3 a.m., his phone rang. A whispering voice said his name. It was Mariana. When he tried to respond, the call dropped. He never saw her again, but to this day, he feels she never really left. Love can survive death, but what if death refuses to let go? Psychological manipulation disguised as romance. Fernanda always dreamed of the perfect relationship, and when she met Daniel, it felt like she had finally found it. He was attentive, said all the right things, anticipated her needs, and made her feel like the most special person in the world. Every date seemed meticulously planned to impress her. But over time, small things started to feel off. How did he seem to know so much about her before she even told him? How could he predict her reactions so perfectly? Her unease turned into horror when, by chance, she stumbled upon a dark online forum about hypnosis and psychological manipulation. One post caught her attention. It described techniques men used to make women fall for them without realizing it. Her blood ran cold when she realized Daniel had followed every single step with her. Every conversation, every compliment, every gesture, none of it was spontaneous. She had been programmed. Terrified, she cut off all contact. Blocked his number. Deleted his messages. Tried to erase every memory of him. But something was wrong. Even far away, she still felt his presence. She started having strange dreams, always with Daniel speaking words she couldn't remember when she woke up. Sometimes, she could even hear his voice in her thoughts, as if he was still influencing her mind. One night, leaving work, a sudden chill ran down her spine. Her heart raced for no reason. When she glanced around, she saw a familiar silhouette across the street, standing completely still, watching her. It was Daniel. He smiled as if he knew she could never truly escape him. What do all these stories have in common? They start with something seemingly normal: a romantic trip, an unexpected meeting, a love that seemed perfect. But beneath the surface, they hide dark mysteries, manipulation, and presences that defy logic. How many of these stories might be happening right now, closer than you think? Because real horror doesn't just exist in movies or urban legends. It could be in a text you just received, in the stranger watching you from across the street, or in that unsettling feeling that something is just off. So, if you want to hear more terrifying stories, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Just be careful because some of these tales might be closer to reality than you'd like to believe.